Good evening, everyone. I'm Lesley Briones. I am grateful to be your Harris County Commissioner for Precinct 4. In addition to all the partners that Seth thanked, I also want to thank our partners at Harris County Constable Precinct 5. Thank you for keeping us safe and for your partnership with the precinct. And I also want to thank my team. We have 450 people at Precinct 4 who work hard with heart, hustle, and higher standards. I love my team. I'm so proud of my team, and I just love learning from y'all every day. So if you're a part of the Harris County Precinct 4 team, including our summer interns, could you please stand up and raise your hand? Because I just love you, and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you so much. So I will be brief because y'all came here to listen and learn about the Harris County budget. And this will be interactive, not only in terms of feedback and questions, but an interactive tool that you all will get to help submit your ideas on what we can do more of. Some of you have gotten to know me and my team. For some of you, this is the first time you have met us. Every county in Texas is divided into 4 precincts. So I am so honored to serve Precinct 4, which we are in right now. We have approximately 1.25 million people in our precinct, which is bigger than 8 U.S. states. We have 10 community centers, including Freed, and we have 55 parks. So we help with everything from filling potholes, cleaning ditches, responding in emergencies as we are still recovering from both the derecho and Beryl. And I'm so thankful to my team for already having picked up hundreds of dump trucks worth of debris. The second the roads were safe after Beryl hit us, they were out on the roads picking up debris, opening cooling sites, opening distribution centers, and I'm just so thankful. So we're here to serve. The reason I'm so happy to be here tonight is twofold. One, this is a partnership with the City of Houston and Harris County. This was a City of Houston property that now Harris County is helping to be responsible for. So some of you have toured and seen the improvements, the new picnic tables, the reimagined community garden. That space across the way has been updated, and more updates to come in this gym. We have more programming. It's open and has more to offer than it used to. And we want to keep building on that programming. And we encourage you to look at the other 9 centers we have, whether it's kids camps, exercise classes, language classes. We're trying to augment the programming as much as our budget allows, which is why we have Daniel here. But all jokes aside, one thing my team and I are very committed to is good government. One piece of good government is making sure that we're being open and transparent and accountable with your tax dollars. Last summer, thanks to the leadership of Director Ramos of the Office of Management and Budget, we had the first town halls throughout Harris County to get the people's feedback on the budget. This is your money, your tax dollars. And so now for the second summer, Daniel and his team are doing that again, and we're so thankful. If you're a part of the budget office, could you please stand so we can thank you? Thank you. And as somebody who grew up check to check as a child, to me, every single dollar of your taxpayer dollars that we are spending, we need to make sure that we're having the intended impact. And so we thank you for spending your time with us this evening. We thank you in advance for your feedback. Know that my team and I are always here to serve, not just in response to storms, but anytime, day or night. Please follow us on social media. Please call us if we can be of service. And I want to thank the City of Houston, because even though now the county is responsible for this facility, I told Councilmember Peck, and her team member was here. He must have just stepped out. She is still officing here. So again, we're trying to stretch your tax dollars. If the city and county can more deeply collaborate so that we can stretch every dollar for the maximum ROI, that's what we want to do. So if there's anything we can do to be of service, I am honored to be serving you. My team is honored to be serving you. And as a mom of 3 little girls, it makes me so happy to see the kids here, listening, learning about the budget, and so many playing outside. So again, thank you for being here. We are all in, and together we will keep driving progress in Harris County. So with that, I would like to introduce the budget director for Harris County, the 3rd largest county in the United States, bigger than 26 states, Daniel Ramos.
Thank you all. Like the commissioner said, I'm Daniel Ramos. I'm going to step over here in case anybody throws anything at me. I will preface this with this is the first one of the season, so thank you so much, Commissioner. She's been asking me about this all year long, so thank you for hosting the first one of the season. I will admit I'm a little rusty, so if I get something wrong, my team will flag me down and tell me so. So really quickly, next slide, please. First, just a quick agenda. We're going to be going through the budget timeline and our strategic goals about how we organize our budget. We'll talk a little bit about how we currently spend our money, and then the revenues and projections for the upcoming year. And then you guys aren't going to get out of here without doing just a little bit of work. You're going to actually help us balance the budget. We have an interactive tool for you to be able to sit in the seat, Commissioner and I, and try to balance the county's deficit. Next slide. So budgeting is a year-round activity, but we really ramp up in May. And what we try to do is, it's called a current level service forecast. And we basically say, hey, how do we run the county? How much is it going to cost to run the county the exact same way next year? So we look at inflation, we look at the cost of energy and fuel, and just before we make any decisions, just where are we at as a county? From there, we ask the departments, what they need or what they want. We also ask them like what you could do without. Because there are some programs that we know could be run better, more efficiently. And then we start work, and at that point, we start turning the budget over to the commissioners, and we work with them and their staff on what their priorities are, make recommendations, and we present the budget in August. So this year will be August 15th. I encourage everybody to tune in. And from there, we do budget hearings, and so the commissioner's offices are able for each one of our county departments to come and ask us questions. Commissioners ask us questions, me and the department heads, and then later in September we adopt a tax rate and the budget. Next slide. So we organize our budget around strategic goals. And the reason we do that is because each one of these goals has associated performance measures. We really want to know if we add that the extra debris removal truck, what do we actually get out of it? So we want to see not just what a department is doing, but what are we actually getting for each of those dollars? So our budget's organized around justice and safety, the environment, housing, economic opportunity, public health, and transportation. And again, you'll get an opportunity to do a simulation where you help balance our budgets and help fund your priorities. So just really quickly, the different funding sources. So the biggest one, and the one that we have the most control over, is the general fund. So we have 2 separate funds essentially, and we adopt 2 different tax rates. One is the operating budget. So the folks you see filling potholes, the folks you see here from the departments and the commissioner's offices, those are the operating budget. This building, the park, the roads, those are all on the capital side, and we issue debt. So if you voted in the last few years, you've been voting for a lot of different bonds. Those are what they fund. We also have some proprietary funds and special revenues, and I only highlight those because there is some confusion. When you look at the overall budget, we're about $5 billion, but what we really have the most control over is the general fund, which is only about $2.5 billion. Next slide. So you can kind of see just a quick breakdown of our overall budget. It's about 44% general fund, 5% special revenue, 14% proprietary funds, and 1.7% grant funds. So you can kind of see the pie looks really big when we first start, but when you start whittling down, it's actually a fairly small pie for how big our jurisdiction is that we can directly control. So part of my job is to recommend a tax rate. So if you paid a property tax bill in the last few years, you have 100% cursed my name. So this is me, so next time you get your property tax bill, you know who to curse out. But one thing I want to highlight is the county has, over many years, lowered the overall tax rate. Part of that is because assessments are going up, but also because we want to manage the burden for residents. Next slide. Okay, good. So as you can see, part of the reason your property tax bill is so high is because the system that we have in Texas, and it's not unique to Harris County, it's all counties across Texas, about 80% of our budget is property taxes. So other jurisdictions do it differently. Some have sales tax, some have income tax, but we really are heavily reliant on our property taxes. Next slide. So this is how the money gets spent. So of that 2.5 billion, roughly 44 or 45% is spent on justice and safety. That is not just our law enforcement partners, but also the courts, the public defender, the district attorneys, all the folks that are involved in the overall justice system. The next biggest category is governance and customer service. That's a lot of the internal functions to the county. That's me, the HR director, IT, all the ones that support the departments in actually delivering services. Next slide. So I really want to highlight some of the great things that we did in last year's budget. And many of them were things we presented in forums like this that commissioners heard and pushed through to get them funded. $2.2 million to expand the HEART program, $1.2 million to increase the amount jurors get paid on their first day, $1.1 million to expand Grad Cafe, which is a program to help high school students apply for colleges, a 12% increase for detention officers. As you guys have seen in the news, the jail is probably one of the biggest issues that the county is trying to tackle. One of the issues that we faced the most was the turnover for our detention officers, and we were never able to keep up. And this has made a big step into getting staffing under control there. 3 additional district courts. So one of the things that Commissioner and I deal with all the time is the backlog of our justice system. We really are trying to put as many chips into the middle of the table there to try and unstick the backlog and be able to have not just to have the justice system work as efficiently as possible at getting folks through. And then a 7% increase for county employees. This is the largest increase that we've had. There are many employees that went 5, 6, 7 years without a single increase, despite the inflation that you all and we all feel. So with that, as I mentioned, that you all are going to do a little bit of work. So once you get past the picture of me, you can X me out. This is where you start, and these are real live numbers. That this is the deficit that we're having to come out of before we start making decisions around investments. So you can toggle up. You can add to the property tax. Again, these are real numbers. This is the range which we're allowed under Texas state law to raise revenue. And it'll tell you, you can't just tax your way out of the situation. It'll tell you when you've reached the cap, and then you go to next. And here are some of the things. We did a 5-year financial plan. If these are things that you might agree with, you can click yes, and it lowers the deficit. If not, you can go to the next. So as you can see, as you start increasing these numbers, the deficit gets lower. And then from here, you can start going through our different buckets of spending, and you can lower juvenile probation, for example. And again, as you lower it, the deficit goes down, or you can hit the green toggle, say district attorney. And if you raise the budget for certain departments, the deficit's gonna go up. So we try to make this as simple as possible. I know that it's a lot of information all at once, but me and my team are gonna be walking around to help anyone or answer any questions. And we'll come back and we'll answer questions. I'm hoping that I can hear from some of you about your budget priorities, and then we'll conclude. So thank you all.